Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the last three of the first wave of Operation Monster Force from Big Bad Workshop and Fresh Monkey Fiction. These guys, I'm doing them in a group again because as you can tell, they're basically army builders of a different variety. And I have to say, I'm just going to put this out there right at the front, I was not expecting to like these. I don't like things that are just strictly army builders unless they're really well executed, that they're fun enough to buy each individual one. And these ones impressed me. I actually liked these more than the other guys, and I thought the other guys were going to be way better. As far as the individual names of these guys go, I'm going to have to check. We have Sleepwalker Heavy Weapons Division, that's the green one. The black one is the Obsidian Elite Guardsman. And then the red one is the Crimson Moon Division. So those are the names. They'll be in the title again. You're not going to hear them a lot throughout the video because that's a mouthful. But like I said, these guys are impressive. Not perfect though. There are definitely some things I'm going to have some gripes with, but there's a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Okay, before we get into the review, I do want to show you my packages. I'm starting to regret doing 3 at once, but we're going to go for it. So they all just show the figure on the front. And those are 3D renders, but they're accurate enough that it's fine. Actually, I think the figures look a little bit better because the paints have washes and things and doesn't quite show on the renders as much. When you open the flap, you normally get a comic for each character. The army builders all have the same comic. All of these guys have the same comic, and then all the other army builders had their own comic, but it was shared across the bunch. So only one new comic for these 3. It does show the character's name across the back or on the side. Then you get the photo and then the general story synopsis over here. I like that they're doing this. That's a pretty cool thing. You don't see that very often on figures these days. So yeah, good packaging. Same as all the other ones, basically. Alright, and now we have a handful of figures to review. And like I said, I'm regretting this, but we're going to get through it, guys. In the other video, somebody complained, you didn't show us all the variations with the accessories. No, but I showed you at least one with a lot of accessories. I can't go through every possible option when they're very customizable. That's not a thing I can do. 6.5 inches, just over, and that's going to be roughly, let's call it 16.5 centimeters. And of course the helmets are slightly different, so you're going to get different precise measurements, but they're all about the same. And so they fit in with your Marvel Legends just about perfectly. Okay, so yeah, these guys are available for pre-order right now at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link in the description below. They are due out in just a couple weeks, so if you want to get in on that, I know they've been available for pre-order for a while. You know, it's better to have a product come out late than to come out poorly. So, yeah, I know it's not ideal to have to wait, but it's better to have a good product. And I have to say, I am completely confident that they are putting in the effort with these guys. So let's just look at the aesthetic a little bit. A lot of reused parts from the Forgotten King, and then a couple other things here and there from, I guess it would have been one of the other troopers. But mostly it's unique to these guys, or at least partly. Halfway? I don't know. Yeah, about halfway, I guess. They are really well painted. Obviously the black one has the least going on, or at least it's less noticeable. I think the red one and the green one look really, really good. I don't love that the shoulders don't really look like they go with the jacket, so that's my first gripe. It's not something I'm like super bothered by, but it's definitely something I noticed. I would prefer the shoulders to look more like jacket shoulders rather than these, and I don't think they use these shoulders on anything else yet, or at least not in Wave 1. So it's a little irritating that they look a little bit like they don't go together, but also they kind of just look like they have fancy shoulders, so I get what they were going for, but I'm not thrilled with the choice. But I do love the detail in the sculpt. The sculpt is great on the jacket. I like that it's a nice narrow, I messed with this one, that it's a nice narrow jacket. It doesn't look all poofy because there's a layer of plastic on there, so that's pretty good. The detail paintwork is very nice. You see, most notably on this guy, all the buttons are painted, the seams are painted, the line work, the wash throughout really makes them pop. They have really clean paintwork on the gloves. This guy's got the white stripes. This guy's got kind of a tan trim on there. And then this guy has 2 different colors. He's got the trim and the knuckles painted. But yeah, very, very well detailed figures. I love that they have not a glossy finish at all. It's very, very nice. Then they all have different helmets, but they all come with different heads also. These are the 3 main looks, so that's why they're on there like this, I guess. I'll show you each one individually real quick. And as we look at the heads, we can also look at the neck, the little lapels in there, or collars, whatever you would call it. That's not really a lapel. Very nicely detailed with the logo. But this helmet, very cool looking. I'm not sure if the eyes react to UV light. I can't find my UV flashlight since I moved. but they almost look like they have some kind of texturing going on in there, which would indicate an unusual paint job. So they might glow if you shine a light on them. But yeah, that's the helmet for this guy. Very, very cool looking. And these little canisters here are interchangeable with other options. I'll show you those when we get into the accessory section. Here's this helmet style, and I'll show you, each one has at least some assortment of these helmets, and they're all a little bit different, so you'll see those in the accessory section. But I don't know what's going on with the eyes there. Like, it's definitely intentional, and they're clean, but they look cartoonish, so I'm not sure if they're meant to be painted on, and it's just like a flat metal visor or something like that. I don't know. I'm not in love with that look. But the helmet does have some ports on the back. This one does not. But this one does have ports on the back. You'll see why in a minute. And then we have this one, which is my personal favorite. The more traditional looking gas mask slash, I don't know, helmet. I guess just regular helmet. No ports on this one either, but lots of really nice paintwork and sculpt work. And these are interchangeable as well. So I was not expecting it, but I like the green one the most. I think he's pretty darn cool looking. Then I would say red, then the gray, because the gray is just less interesting to me. But yeah, these are gorgeous. I love the sculpt on the jacket. I do wish the shoulders made it more seamless, but I'm thrilled with these. If I was an army collector sort of guy, I would just load up, and you're going to see why. So aesthetically, 9 out of 10 for the price point. They look really damn good. Every inch is covered with paint, and it's just really good. Now, as far as accessories go, I'm going to go through each one individually because it's just too much going on. So I guess it's going to be a little bit of a trick, but we're gonna figure this out. Okay, so let's start with the gray one. Okay, we'll start with the heads. For heads, he just comes with the helmeted head that you saw initially, and then he also comes with the skull-looking gas mask. Very nicely detailed. The white paint is definitely clean enough. Kind of a different finish for the top of the helmet. That looks really good. He comes with the AK-style rifle. It's very loosely an AK-styled rifle. Very nice paint job on that. Same thing with the pistol. Those are very cool. Then he has a good assortment of hands. Definitely all that you would need, I would say. So that's good. Not as many as some of the other releases, but he comes with a lot of other cool things. Speaking of which, we do get a pack of blast effects and, like, I don't know, other sorts of blast effects and smoke, so that's pretty cool. And then you get his backpack, which just goes on his back, very, very nicely painted, lots of ports on there. And then for the ports, it comes with a large assortment of very flexible and painted tubers. And if you guys know anything about sculpting and original characters, tubers are essential, and this guy has loads of tubers and a packet of greebles. Greebles would just be random bits and bobs that you can add to the tubers and guns to connect them in different ways. And so you can make both of his guns connect to his backpack and connect to his helmet, or connect to other things, or replace the things on the helmet. Just however you want to customize things. Anywhere there's a port or a thing pegged into a port, you can swap it out and add a tuber or a greeble. And that's pretty darn cool. Lots of detail going on there. And then lastly, for those kinds of accessories, he's got like an arm pad thing, which is very nicely detailed. That's awesome. And then lastly, overall, we have the Monster Force display stand that says Sleepwalker, which is their faction, on it. So that's the main spread of accessories that I'm going to go through, but then I'll go through these ones. So for the red guy, I'll show you well, I guess we'll start with the heads. We have 3 heads this time. He already comes with the skull type gas mask head. Then you get one of each of the other heads, and they are, again, very nicely detailed. Love the paintwork, other than the weird eyes on the one, and they're just gorgeous. I love these head sculpts. And so you have those. You have 3 heads for that guy. He does come with the AK and the pistol again, and he does come with his baggie of backpack and tubers and greebles. It's basically the same stuff with a slightly different color scheme. A little bit less silver on this guy's stuff, but it's basically the same spread. He does have the same spread of hands with appropriate paint and the display stand and the blast effects. And then lastly, we have the green guy, which comes with all 3 heads again. Again, very nicely detailed. I do think his are maybe the best looking. Those are awesome. So you get those. And then for his guns, you get the pistol, but instead of the AK, you get the huge super duper rifle, which is just... There's so much sculpt work and paint work on this, it makes me want to buy the figure. Like, it alone would do the trick, is what I'm saying. There's more paint on this than an entire year's worth of Marvel Legends. No, I'm joking, but damn, there's a lot of paint. Even the green part at the top where there's a wash and neon green, so it looks like it's kind of glowing. Very well executed. There's some ports on there because he also comes with all of the greebles and the backpack and the tubers and the blast effects of the other guys, only his backpack has even more paint work on it. It's really nicely detailed. And then he does come with the hands and the display stand. So, accessory-wise, 10 out of 10. Across the board, these guys are freaking loaded with customizability. And as far as army builders go, that's the freaking way to do it. This company is doing army builders right in the best way I've ever seen. And you guys can tell me if there's another company doing stuff like this, but the amount of accessories you're getting with these guys in order to customize them, it's nuts. And if you buy, like, let's say you wanted 3 of the green ones, you're going to buy 3 of those guys, you're going to end up with a buttload of accessories to just swap around and do whatever you want. So I think that's pretty darn cool. So let's do the articulation, even though it's going to be fairly straightforward, and then we will call it a wrap. We're already at 11 minutes-ish. Let's do it with the green one, because I think he looks cool. All right, so articulation on this guy, it's basically the same thing we already saw with the other ones. There's a ball peg on top of a hinge. I'll just pop it off. There's a ball peg on top of a hinge, which is not my favorite, but it's okay because the neck is articulated so it doesn't kill the figure. I definitely don't prefer that setup, but it will be sufficient for sure. You'll be able to pose them how you want. Nuance posing is so important to me, and because of that neck being on that ball peg at the bottom, it reduces the problem that the hinge causes at the top, so I like that a lot. These guys look so good. There's so much detail, and they don't look like crappy toy. I haven't reviewed nice looking figures in a long time at this price point that look this nice. I'm just taken aback a little bit. Shoulders are standard ball hinge, nothing special. A little bit better than horizontal. They're going to function. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow is going to be just fine. Not the best looking thing in the world, not the worst looking thing in the world. There's nothing offensive about it. It does work nicely. And then the wrists have a swivel and a hinge. They do have vertical hinges for the trigger finger hands, so I'm happy about that. For the torso, there's probably something in there, but you can't use it. I mean, this is pretty soft, but you can't use what's in there. So that might just be a matter of they're using parts that would work if it didn't have the jacket, and probably will not have a jacket in some form, but on this figure it does, and so it doesn't work. So you get a waist ball peg, which is nice. But the coat down here, you can see that little key in there. There's a tab up here that lines up with that, so it allows you to rotate it, and sometimes it catches and helps it to rotate. I'm not sure why that's keyed, but this is a floating piece. It's snug, so it doesn't move easily. But yeah, it'll rotate around, so if you need it to look good like that, you can do it. I'm not sure why they bothered to key it, but yeah, you get limited torso articulation for sure. But these aren't the kind of guys that are going to be doing too much martial arts stuff. I think it's mostly going to be stand there and hold your cool guns and tubers sort of situation. But yeah, well, it's got a ball peg in there at least a little bit. For the hips, it's the same style hips. It's a really tight, tiny drop down. I'm not sure we're going to see much out of that, but let's see. Going out to the side, still good. Basically full on splits. I'll take that. Kicking forward. It's soft, but the way it's cut may not afford much in the way of kicking. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be doing martial arts. That's about as high as you're going to be able to comfortably get his leg. But it's fine. Like, for any sort of shooting pose, you should be okay. You can bring the leg back some. You do get your thigh swivel in there. So it'll be fine for a shooter, not a martial arts guy, like I said. Knee joints work definitely well enough. Could have better range. We have a little bit of a poof right here in the pant that's keeping it from having better range. But it's enough, and the proportions are okay. I'll go back to what I said. Not martial artist. Gun guy. Boot swivel is there, and then the ankles go pretty far back and really far forward, and then you get your ankle rocker. So that is fine by me. Yeah, posability, 7. It's fine. Articulation, 7. It's going to be exactly what you need for these guys. He's not going to replace Spider-Man anytime soon. But for a guy that holds cool guns in a backpack with tubers and helmets and things, perfectly adequate. And so, it's time for my final verdict. These are awesome. I would say these are the best army builders I have ever handled. I'm not saying something else doesn't exist out there, but the figure itself is completely solid on its own. If you only buy one of each, you will be fine. They have plenty of options to make them look cool as their own characters, or plenty of options to make 10 different characters out of the same one. And then the details, the paint, the sculpt, the detail in the accessories. I mean, this backpack alone. This backpack mixed with his big gun. I mean, that's everything. That's just, there's so much effort being put into these. I am quite pleased with this line. I'm going to give these guys a 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. At this price point, you're not going to beat it. Not even close. It's a new IP, so obviously that allows them to do a little bit more, and I understand that, but still, as a consumer, you're getting all of your money's worth, if you ask me. So that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. These are available for pre-order, Big Bad Torso. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check them out. I would highly recommend it. I have a feeling once these guys get into circulation, they're going to go fast. It's just my hunch. I think once people get these in hand, they're going to be reordering. It's a hunch I have. I think we have a military, zombie, whatever, monster military Mythic Legions on our hands with this line. It's just a hunch, but I am quite pleased with this. I think it'll be very popular once they hit the market. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me, so I'll stop rambling, and I will tell you, if you haven't subscribed, you probably should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.